This is Naomi Denmother of eq2.eqtraders.com with part 4 of 5 of the Scrivener's Tale, which is the trade skill line for Chaos Descending in EverQuest 2. Again, you're starting with Gita Borel, and she's got yet another person that she wants you to help. You're getting very popular. You're getting well known for actually doing what you promised to do, and so all of the overworked librarians and custodians and so forth are just begging for your help. So the next one that you need to see is Temri, and he is in the conservatory, which is first floor, east end of the zone, which is also where your entrance is. And once you're in the foyer, you hang left, and you're in the conservatory. Say hi to Temri. He gives you a recipe. He wants some plant pots for his boss. Unfortunately, there's no clay handy, so you're going to have to do this the hard way and go around and destroy old broken scroll containers. Then grab the shard of broken pottery from it. Go around, grab 3 things of sap while you're right here. And then go looking for 2 more pieces of pottery to break. Don't you feel happy breaking things? You destructive person, you. Get a second shard of broken pottery. Here's a third one, if I hit the right key. If that one wasn't up, you could have come over here to this one, or this one over here. As you can see, there's several scattered around, and they respawn quickly. Then you need to actually craft the pottery. I don't know why I was running back to Temri, but oh well. Autopilot doesn't always work properly. And you are looking at 12 reef clusters and 25 strangler roots, as well as 50 celestial coal for this combine on top of the provided materials. I don't want to run forward and back and all over the place, so I'm just going to do it here. It's a relatively quick combine, and I'm standing right next to his boss, or supervisor, superior, whatever you want to call her, the head of his department. She's trying to pretty the place up, especially now that they have visitors for the first time in a very long time, in many generations. The reopening of the library and the fact that it is no longer cut off from the rest of the known world means that things are even more chaotic, especially with all the sick people. So, fancying things up, hand her the pots. She goes into all sorts of things about so much to do, so little time, and so forth, and then says that she sent Temri to Vegarlson, the Earth and Badlands, and would like you to help him. For science! So, off you go to what I call Earth, because I don't want to trip lightly over my tongue with Vegarlson all the time. But again, you're going to the North Wing and the Elemental Portal Gallery, and then you're going through the pretty green portal. Since I've already done the adventuring line, I have multiple options here. If you've not done the adventuring line, all you'll have is the overland option for Vegarlson, the Earth and Badlands. And once you're in and it's finished loading, Temri's right there. He rewards you, gives you a little bit of background, and he wants you to check on some specific pollen to see if it has calming properties that will let you move safely around near some of the natives, which are the arboreans. So off you go to the forest, as Temri calls it. And I'll show you on the map as soon as I get there. I'm not going to fly too high because those things are aggro. They are Mifflin, and there is a new lore and legend specifically for them. There is also a lore and legend for all of the planar earthen elementals, which are those guys there. They're also aggro. But this is what I want. These flowers, there's more than 5 of them in the area. Some of them have mobs a little closer than others. It does take them a minute or so. I have not timed it, but a little while, not a horribly long time, to recharge. So if you need to stand at a single plant and keep doing it because you're afraid of the mobs, you're going to be there a little while. These guys are relatively short-sighted, thankfully. Now, because they have both quest objectives there, I theoretically could be sitting here grabbing a pollen, then coating my armor, and then grabbing another pollen and coating my armor, and so forth. Or I can do it all at the end for the coating. You know, I just have to have the pollen before I can coat. And since it is a quote-unquote spell cast or ability cast, I can't be moving while I'm coating. So I'm going to finish coating. And then I have to go check the arboreans who are going to be up here. That's the tree people. Distant cousins of Groot. Once you see them, you'll realize why I call them that. I am not going to that one because there's that temple guardian. The Voltax are kind of nasty. So I will go over here so you can get a look at the face. And she's going to turn away. Well, didn't want to talk to you anyway. There, he's going to stand still for me for a moment. And as you can see, they are temporarily non-aggro, thanks to the coating on my armor. So I can go back to Temri and report my success. Fly over the public quest mob down there, who is thankfully non-aggro. Since he's an Epic X3 level 118, I'm very happy that he's non-aggro at the moment. And there in the distance is where the zone in was. But if you notice, there's no quest book showing. There's a quest feather down there from Dr. Okana, who does the key quests for this expansion. But there's no sign of Temri. So land where you expected to see him. The quest updates and tells you to find him. Now he's got a quest book showing on the map. And the quest book shows from a passable distance. So you can get your bearings and find where he is. Talk to him. And excuse me for a moment. I flew too low. I'm not even bothering to fix my hotbar that much, although I suppose I should. He's dead. Thank you, Epic Pet. Helps if I had been in the combat bars, but thankfully this one can handle it, so I wasn't flying as carefully as I should have. Then after you get done talking with him with that one, he gives you the next quest. And he wants to help this Elder Arborean that has collapsed. So you click on him to investigate. You get a recipe scroll for an earthen bomb, which is going to need a chemistry table, 8 basilisk meat, 12 flitterfin tang, which are the fish, 6 reef cluster, 18 strangler root, and 50 celestial coal. Ooh-ah-ooh. You should be theoretically safe to craft while you're standing right next to Temri. They moved the basilisk so that he's further away. So as long as nobody's dragging something through and you get hit with an AE, you're fine to just craft here if you don't want to travel. And I didn't, oops. Why is it not showing? I did scribe it. It says it was put in the recipe book. It's not showing. I am going to relog. I will be right back. With over 11.5 thousand recipes in my recipe book, every once in a great while, something disappears into the ether temporarily. 99% of the time, it will fix itself with just a quick camped character select and back again. Thankfully, it did for this one. It doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. I mean, we've got some serious recipe book bloat, especially with all of the extra recipes that we're getting as quest rewards and things like that. And this is my main crafter. If it's something artisan, she gets it. If it's something event related, she gets it. If it's tinkering, transmuting, well, tinkering, adorning, and so forth, she gets it. So her recipe book fills up a lot faster than most of my other alts. So target the Arborean, left click on him. You could also have used the bomb from inventory, but since I was targeting him anyway, I just clicked and he's done. Talk to Temri. Be very glad that my chemistry table is only visible to me. I'm not messing everybody else up with it. Receive my reward. The reward is Tincture of Bark. It will be a no trade recipe, or no trade 30-minute illusion item, and you can make as many of them as you want. This is the female version. There is a male version, of course, as well, but since I'm not male, I can't see it. So that's what it is. It is an unmount only illusion, but it works in every zone. So you can run around as an Arborean as much as you want. It's not going to change your aggro or anything like that. It's just a fun fluff spell. So now they've decided that there's a lot of things that have changed since they were cut off from the rest of the world, and he's having a grand old time here in Vegarlson and wants to catalog some of the local life forms. He's going to ask you to do it. He's going to give you a golden fleck. You need 3 of the ore rare, which are golden fleck, for a later quest. So you get 2 during the quest line and only have to harvest 1. So bada boom, bada bing. You'll notice that a special catalog creature ability for Vegarlson, the Earth and Badlands catalog creature, shows up in your knowledge book. If you have space on your hotbar, it'll drop right into your hotbar. If you don't have space on your hotbar, you might miss the fact that it dropped into your book, and you're trying to use the normal catalog, and the normal catalog won't work. One of the nice things about this special catalog, and probably why they did it this way instead of just letting you use the normal one, is the distance. It's got an extra 3 meters for the range on cataloging, which will let you avoid aggro a little better. Everything is going to be in your journal as question marks with images, because he's not sure what you're going to find out here. He can't give you the names of things because he doesn't know what's been changed in this area since the last time people from Mirist were able to go out and check on things. So thankfully they all have quest feathers so you can see them pretty well. Bada boom, bada bing. Edge in as soon as that thing highlights for an aggro mob, hit it so that you don't have to get too close and get that aggro. But you can do some passable range finding as long as you don't try to move in at the same time they're moving towards you. There you go. That's things in this area, and eventually that feather disappears. There we go. We've done those. Now we have to travel in deeper into Vegarlson. While you will need to target, or you will need to catalog a Vekarchiki, you cannot do the warriors, so you can ignore these ones in the front here. They're not going to be anything that you can use. Your first target on this side of the wall is that Warder of Earth. Now you get into the area where you may find the Vekarchiki drones, like this guy. A lot of them are going to be on top of things, where you cannot stand close enough to target them and actually do it without getting aggro. So you need to find one that's got a little bit of line of sight and a little bit of distance, so you can just kind of edge in without aggroing and catalog him. It's pretty simple as long as you know that's what you're going to need to do. That you're going to need to look around a bit to find one of them that's actually got enough line of sight and enough distance that you can do it safely. Now the Arbiters of Earth, you don't want to do these two in the front here because there's no place for you to stand without getting aggro. You want one where you've got some decent distance and line of sight at the same time. So I'm going to plop over here, wait for my catalog to light up. There we go. I've got him. On the Arborians, this is the only time where it does not matter which specific type you get. So you can do a protector, a priest, whatever happens to be handy. And they are still non-aggro because your coating is still going. And boom, you're done. On the Terak Temples mobs, you specifically need a guardian. I'm happy that there's one right here. I don't have to go looking for one. But there are several different types of Terak mobs, so make sure you found a temple guardian, and then you go back to Temri. Wave to that public quest mob again. Hello, Mr. Epic. Goodbye, Mr. Epic. I'm not playing with you. And the first time I did this, none of the mobs had the little quest feather after them. We didn't have a list anywhere of what they were going to be. The list was in Ninja's head. So the first time I did this, I finally was stuck on one last mob, and I thought I'd been through all the zone and tried every single variation on every single mob type and missed one of them. I spent about an hour before I gave up and begged him to tell me what it was. But thankfully we don't have to worry about that now. It's much happier. It's much easier. You get your golden fleck, you tell him about what you found, and then pick up the last quest in this chunk, which is to return to the library because he's asked Cookie to make you a special reward. So you're going to have some hot food waiting for you after all this running around and targeting things and collecting this and harvesting that and so forth. You've probably worked up a really good appetite. And with a name like Cookie, can't wait to see what Cookie's cooked up for us. So Cookie is in the commissary, which is off the east wing on the first floor. So by the entrance. She will show up as a little cayenne quest dot on your map and on your mini map, because she's another one where the quest book, for one reason or another, is not showing up on the map. Even though she does have a quest book over her head. There you go. There she is. Hail her. She has you have a seat while she finishes preparing. And, oh, you really, really I want this hat so badly. It doesn't look that great from the back on a Rotanga, but when she turns around, she's just gorgeous. Unfortunately, you can't get the hat. And even more unfortunately for your character, look at you retch and gag. She gave you a charred Arborian leg. Yes, those tree people that you were just talking to and healing and cataloging and so forth. She gave you one of their legs. It's just been charred. Yuck. I guess you're not going to get any food right now. You're going to, quote unquote, check out the Recipes for Adventure publication instead. And when you're in a library, checking out has all sorts of interesting connotations, and you're going to accidentally use another one of them in a bit, because that book is going to end up out in the world instead of here where it belongs. So you go back to the library, you hail the Recipes for Adventure book, and he starts to tell you a story. And gives you the recipe scroll for the raid Divine Weapons of the Wraith, which are for Viggaros in the Earthen Badlands. That concludes this chunk of the walkthrough. I will be back in a moment for the 5th and final segment of the quest line, which will be mostly in Erisli, the Kingdom of Wind.